Okay. Hi, everybody. I think we are on Facebook Live now. Hi, I'm Jeff Heyman. I'm the communications analyst for the city of Lafayette, and I'm joined by Mayor Mike Anderson. Mike, welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Howdy,
joining
thank
us.
you.
And City Manager Naroop Srivatsa. Naroop, thank you for joining us.
Hello,
So,
everyone.
We've got a number of very good questions from folks, but I think before we get to the questions from people out in Lafayette, we'll have a little statement, a little opening, a few remarks from Mayor Anderson.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Jeff, for the introduction. And this is an opportunity, hopefully, for folks to learn a little bit about what the city is doing during this crisis. There's quite a bit of information out there about the pandemic, its extent and reach across the world. But within your community, there are certain things that are being done and being looked at as issues that you need to know about. We basically now are under a new order from the county health department, and it clarifies many of the things that were not clear in the first order. It will extend through May 3rd. So this new order is something that we're looking at closely, and we will begin to adjust enforcement requirements because of it. The thing that's interesting about this situation is that each household is basically a unit of concern for the health department. So all of those who live together basically operate as one entity under this order. They can travel together, they can do things together without violating the ordinance. Their being together is not considered a gathering. The interesting thing about that is that means that your household, your family, your children, you and your partner, you and anyone you're taking care of in your home, need to think of yourselves as one individual. So if any one of you moves outside of the household and has contact that is not properly, I would say, not properly done in terms of having good social distance, good hygiene, that can come back and become a problem for the entire household and therefore continues to spread this virus that we're so concerned about. So I think one of the things we all need to do is to actually make sure we're following the social distancing protocols, that we are getting out and getting our exercise, but respectfully keeping a good distance from others. Waving was what Courtney and I are doing when we're out on our walks. People may cross the street, or we may cross the street. We'll wave and say hi, but we keep the distance. The same thing is going to be true, of course, when shopping, expositions, other situations out in the downtown. We need to make sure that all of us, including our kids, are respecting that social distance protocol. The other thing I wanted to talk about was basically our need to support our local businesses and nonprofits. During this period of time, clearly all those businesses, mostly the restaurants, are under a lot of stress. They have come up with ways that they can do curbside service or delivery. And it would be great if those of us who can't afford to do so could patronize their businesses by making an order online or by phone and then picking up food from those organizations. If we can at least keep the lights on for these people, then when we get to the end of this, hopefully they can come back and put the vibrancy back into our downtown that we loved so much 2 or 3 months ago. So that's something hopefully we can all try to do. The other thing is nonprofits. There's a lot of nonprofits who are not getting funding because obviously events can't be held, there can't be gatherings. So if there are nonprofits that you would normally patronize or go to their events, you may want to look online and see if there's ways you can make direct donations to them. They are also suffering in this crisis and need support so they can get through this and get to the other side of this crisis. Also, I think that we all need to recognize that this is something that is going to be with us for a while and will be a major marker for the children of our community. And if you have kids, I know there's a lot of challenges related to keeping them schooled, keeping them active, making sure that they're actually happy with their day, although they're limited in what they can do. There's a lot of online access going on now for kids. However, one of the things we're beginning to hear is that this is also creating an opportunity for people to attack and hack into online access. So this would be something for parents and kids to be aware of, to be careful in this online period where we've been doing a lot of work online, a lot of things online. That there are some folks out there who basically are trying to take advantage of that. And whether you're a kid or older, you can fall prey to those kinds of scams. So this is really an opportunity to answer questions. I know Jeff has gathered quite a few. I think you can continue to send in questions via Facebook. But the bottom line for me in this situation is the city is open. We are operating. We do have a virtual planning desk or counter in operation. So if you need permits or if you need to come in and talk about things that are going on or ongoing in your area, you have the planning counter as well as our police, which are also available. We are working from home mostly. And because of that, there may be some delay in response, but hopefully you can understand that there are people there who are there to deal with your issues, but you may have to be a bit patient. One last thing, we have many, many bits of communication that are under Jeff Heyman that you should be subscribing to. Obviously, our website's a great place to start, but we have the weekly roundup, we have the almost daily briefing, we have many, many postings from our lobbyists related to legislative activities going on related to this virus, as well as the state in general, which affect the city. So those are things that are no cost to you. They will be emailed to you as they come out, and they really keep you abreast of what's going on in our small city. So with that, I'll just wrap up and say, I think that Lafayette continues to be a very wonderful place, a safe place, and I know that at the end of this, we will have a rebound that will be the envy of many, many other cities in the state. So thank you for your time and your questions.
Well, thanks, Mike. Nirup, is there anything you want to add about the city office operations or anything like that?
I think the mayor explained it very well. I just wanted to reach out and say hello to everyone. We miss seeing you on a daily basis, but as the mayor said, we will get back and be stronger and better than ever.
Okay, great. I see on Facebook we have a number of viewers, and Holly at the chamber has noted that, and you can see this on Facebook there, the URL, the link for the restaurants that are open for takeout. So that's updated regularly. We have it on our webpage too at the city, but she has just posted that, so take a look. Okay, well, should we get to some questions from some of our residents out there?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, let me see. I'm going to do this in order that we receive them. How's that, just to be fair?
Okay.
Okay, this one is from Elizabeth Andron, and she says, Mayor Mike, can you make, she cannot make the virtual lunch, but she has a concern. SBA loans, Small Business Association loans, administration loans, through the relief bill could really help our small businesses. These loans will be forgiven. I know that the requirements the banks will make may deter some from trying. Having mentioned the loans to one small business, they felt it would probably be too involved and were not aware of the loans. If covering salaries, rent, insurance, and possibly other items would be forgiven for the February 15th, June 30th with proof of expenditures. Would it be possible for a committee to be set up to contact small businesses like independent coffee shops, small stores, and the like to help answer their questions and assist them? Even a flyer passed out to let them know about the procedure and receive funds and possible banks to contact would help. Time is of the essence because larger small businesses will be ready to go and funds are limited. Thank you.
Well, Elizabeth, that's a great question. Some good suggestions. It's something that we're taking a look at right now, actually. The chamber has been very active with the businesses, the local businesses, in trying to get them informed about what's available and what they need to do to access these funds. However, I think your point is right there in terms of the complexity. So we're looking at what might be on the table for the city to do to assist. We will be meeting on April 6th and also April 13th as a city council, once again in a virtual setting, to take a look at some ideas that may be something the city can do. But at this point, I think the chamber is probably the best place for businesses to go and get information about opportunities.
Okay, thank you. Narup, anything you want to add or?
No?
Okay. All right, let's see. Now we have another question here. This one comes from Paul Melmed, and he writes, all city employees must help enforce the stay-at-home law and not be working on non-essential business as usual. That includes the planning department. This is what the mayor of San Diego is doing. One more example of a responsible / disciplined local government. Mayor Faulkner of the city of San Diego has now declared a majority of city employees as disaster workers, regardless of their job category or training. So theoretically, some of the thousands of city employees can monitor violations of the city distancing rules / laws. I am also worried about the poor construction workers and their families coming into town every day because the state says they are essential to continue building housing. I'll just note that that's changed since this was written.
Yes.
So I'll continue. Tell the governor to delay the ongoing construction until he lifts the stay-at-home ban or put our city employees on site to enforce the 6-foot social distancing law. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, well, Paul raises lots of different issues. One that I think that's important to note is that there has been a change under this current ordinance that does eliminate all construction except for those that are related to the development of affordable housing. And I think Paul also had another question about that, which I assume you'll get to, about what is affordable housing. But that's a change that's come into effect as of today. So there will be a change in terms of the number of construction projects going on. Unlike other cities, we really don't have thousands of employees to monitor or to change to a monitoring perspective. So we do have inspectors, we do have our police, and those are the monitors that are in the place right now to check and see that things are in compliance. We don't have people going out to check to make sure everyone is standing 6 feet apart on a construction project. I don't think that's really practical. I think that once again, the people need to take some responsibility for their own actions and to do what is appropriate in this particular situation. So along that line, if there's a circumstance that looks really unsafe or unhealthy, that can be reported to our police department, and they can check and make sure that proper guidance is in place for social distancing. And if necessary, they can contact the county health department, who I believe also has a role in actually sanctioning or putting in enforcement on this issue.
Okay.
And if I can add to that, Paul, thank you for your question. As you know, we got the new health order yesterday. It's 12 pages long, and it actually provides more clarity on the businesses that can operate and on the types of activities that one can do. So I know I heard from the police chief, he's going over this in great detail because he has been charged with the enforcement of the order, and he will start enforcing the new order immediately. And should there be projects that are brought to his attention that cannot be under construction, he will dispatch a police officer to ask them to close down.
Okay, very good. And also, there, the full order is on our webpage. If you look under the news column right in the center there, under our COVID-19 page, we have the full order as well as a summary that lists what the new businesses and the changes, so people can take a look at that on our webpage. All right, let's see what else we have here. Okay, here is a question from Randall Whitney, who writes, thank you for arranging this opportunity and for Mayor Anderson and his council for taking responsible leadership. I have several Lafayette tenants asking me what provisions or ordinances is the City of Lafayette establishing to protect tenants from premature evictions or adverse legal disputes between landlords and tenants, especially in response to Governor Gavin Newsom's recent March 25th orders? And of course, those changed too overnight.
Yeah, those have changed. My understanding of the governor's orders is that evictions are not going to be allowed over the coming period. So there's an option for cities to have other ordinances that may be more farther encompassing or more strict. But right now there are no evictions for residential tenants allowed under the state guidance. The city has not taken any time so far to get an ordinance in place that would be any more specific or clearer on this matter. We're feeling that this is a pretty good start in terms of the concerns related to residential tenants who will have a problem paying their rent. However, this is something we're going to be monitoring very closely because it's a concern not only for the tenants, but also for the landlords in terms of their own cash flow and ability to withstand the situation we're in right now. So I would advise, and I think the governor's statement actually includes this, that tenants who are going to be unable to pay rent or full rent communicate directly with their landlords as soon as possible to let them know what the circumstance is and start a conversation with your landlord about things that can be done that you both can live with to forego rent for a period of time that's reasonable. And I think, I'm hoping, at least in Lafayette, we'll find many reasonable landlords who are willing to take into account losses of work or opportunity based on the pandemic we're in right now, and will work out something that will work for both the tenant and the landlord. So that would be the starting place for a situation like that.
And I would encourage the same for our businesses as well. Reach out to your landlords and ask for assistance during this time.
Okay, very good. I'm going to remind people that if you have a question that you'd like to ask now, it might be easier to email me and I can pick it up here while we're on. And my email address is jheyman, the letter J, H-E-Y-M-A-N, at lovelafayette, all one word, lovelafayette.org. Some questions have come in on Facebook, but for some reason my the panel here is only allowing me to see, it looks like we've had about 11 comments, but I can only see 4 of them and I can't get to the rest. So if you have a question you'd like us to answer, go ahead and email it directly to me, and that's jheyman@lovelafayette.org. Okay, let's see what else we have here. All right, now we have a question from Jennifer Perlmutter, who asks, she says, thank you for this. What is the police department doing differently to ensure the protection of the stores that are not open? Is the city seeing more crime since the shelter in place? Thank you.
Okay, Nurup, I know you can certainly come in with this. Let me just make a quick statement. Sure. My sense is that crime is down, and I also have noticed quite a bit of patrol in the downtown area by our Lafayette police. So I'll just put that in as my sense of where we are. But Nurup, if you can fill in the blanks, that'd be great.
You're right, Mayor. The police chief has told me that crime is down. And as a result, he's been able to deploy an extra patrol through the downtown area. The rationale being that most people are in their homes during the day because we're all in the shelter-in-place order, whereas there are several businesses in the downtown that are closed. Additionally, he has an extra patrol at night and weekends through the downtown. We did have a commercial burglary this weekend in the downtown, and he's following up and making it his top priority. So there are additional efforts to monitor the downtown, to ensure safety in the downtown, and to really put out a police presence in the downtown so people are aware that the police are monitoring, watching, and patrolling.
Okay, very good. All righty, let's see. We have, oh, here's another question from Paul Melmed. And he writes, please add the alert advisory just issued May 3rd stay-at-home order. Ask the mayor his interpretation of the ban on construction in paragraph 4 of the alert. Affordable housing is not defined. Very low, low, moderate. The Brown Avenue project may have no low or very low, for example. Therefore, it is not meeting the intent of affordable. Keep construction workers and their families safe from exposure in Lafayette at least until May 3rd. They touch hard surfaces all day long.
Okay, well, this is in addition to the question that Paul asked earlier. So I took a look at the order that has just come out, and it does talk about affordable housing and does define affordable housing. And what it states is affordable housing that is or will be income restricted, including multi-unit or mixed-use developments containing at least 10% income restricted units. So affordable housing, by definition in the county, is housing that is for, I guess, households that make 80% of the county median income. And that number basically is the low income level. Then below that, you have very low income. So basically, I think the project that he's referring to by city requirements has more than 10% affordable housing, but I'll see if Nirup can kind of chime in on that.
Yeah.
In which case, it would be a project that would continue under the current order for construction.
I know that the project that Paul refers to does have below market rate units. I believe they have 2. I will research it further to see what levels of affordability those units are, and I'll get back to Paul. And we will also confirm the definition of affordable housing with the county health officer to make sure that it's consistent with our definition of affordable, which is the state's definition. So we will clarify that. But as we know it today, that project has 2 below market rate units.
Okay, very good. All right, we received several questions from Cheryl McDonald. So I'll go ahead and read those. Her first question, I'll do one at a time. Her first question was, other cities and states are planning ahead regarding off-site hospitals. Has anyone asked the owners of the Park Hotel regarding this? And if so, what is the update on this? And if not, why hasn't this happened?
Okay, so the need for additional hospital space would be a county health requirement. So that's beyond the scope of our city services. We don't offer health services. We have the county to do that. So the county, Contra Costa County, would be the agency that would be contacting possible places for additional beds. And I don't know if they've contacted the Lafayette Park Hotel or not, but I know that they are active, very active in this whole process of determining what's needed to accommodate the surge that could be coming to this county. So I think, once again, it's county health that would be the one to make that contact.
Okay, very good. Let's see. Now, Cheryl has also written, okay, can you break down Lafayette and surrounding towns in regard to the amount of cases diagnosed and how many are I think she means in our local hospitals? Is there a part of Contra Costa County that has been harder hit?
Nirup, do you have something on this?
Yeah, I do, because the Contra Costa City managers had a virtual meeting with the county health department personnel, and that question was raised, and the answer is no. The information will not be distributed per city. It'll be a county-wide count. And the reasons are, one, for privacy reasons, for HIPAA. And the other reason was that if the county said, as an example, that a city like Lafayette had no cases of COVID-19, the fear is that would encourage people in that city to be freer and not to go out and to mingle rather than be serious about the shelter in place order. And they're very cautious and concerned that it may give a sense of comfort that people can, it's not as serious here as it is elsewhere. So the answer, Cheryl, is no, the information will not be released by cities, but it'll be a countywide number.
Okay, very good. Cheryl also wrote, and I think we answered this earlier, but she wrote, I have heard from grocery stores that there are thefts happening. One local one where the people were caught. How are we protecting them? I think we answered that, but is there anything else you want to add?
No, I had not heard of the grocery store robbery. I would, if you have information, Cheryl, please send it my way and I'll pass it on to the chief.
Okay, very good. Cheryl wrote a question, but then also provided an answer. So I'll read both. Can you talk more about the organization within Lafayette that is helping seniors and people with health concerns? And then she later wrote, it's La Miranda Village. And if you do want to get involved with either, if you need help, if you're a senior or somebody who's at risk, or if you want to volunteer, you can email La Miranda Village at info@lamirandavillage, one word, .org, info@lamirandavillage.org. Give your name, address, and phone if you want to receive services. And their telephone number is 925-283-3500.
And Jeff, I assume we have that information on our webpage, do we?
We do.
Yeah, so that's another place to get good information. And once again, just kind of on that theme, there's a lot of folks who basically are shut in or don't have a lot of contact. So if you know folks like that, reach out to them by telephone or FaceTime, Skype, or Zoom or something. Say hello. I've had a lot of long conversations with my golf buddies because they're just frustrated. They want to go play.
Right.
So we talk for a half hour instead. Okay. But it's really healthy and I think important people do that.
Okay, very good, thanks. Let me see, so now we have Laurel Stanley wrote in this morning and said, good morning. My concern is regarding public hearing, planning committee, city council, etc. on pending development projects such as the terraces during the stay-at-home order. Am I correct in understanding that none of these will be held virtually? Thank you.
Well, that is not correct. All of those meetings will be held virtually. We cannot not have the meetings because we are still under the Permit Streamlining Act, which is a state requirement that we process applications for development in a certain period of time. If we do not, those developments then can become approved without any further oversight by the city. So it's very critical that we continue processing these applications. Now the details, I think, Nirup, I don't know if you want to go into any detail at all about where we are with the project or terraces in particular.
Certainly. Let me just add to what you said, Mayor, that the League of California, I think all cities are concerned about what Laurel raised. We're all working remotely. It is challenging to schedule virtual meetings. There are other tasks that are taking over our time during this emergency. So the League of California Cities sent the governor a request about 2 weeks ago asking that certain statutory deadlines be temporarily suspended during this order so that the city could be engaged in this emergency. As of now, the governor has not waived or suspended any deadlines, and therefore the cities are subject to all those statutory deadlines, and we are following them. The terraces application on Deer Hill Road, the first meeting is scheduled for April 27th before the Planning Commission, and it will be a virtual meeting.
Okay, very good. Anything you'd like to add, Mike?
Well, I just wanted to comment about the virtual meetings. I think, they're not the best way for us to do business. It's certainly not as good as having folks come to a council meeting and they're there, we can actually, talk to them more directly. But this is what we have to work with. And I think to the extent people are concerned, they should do whatever they can to either participate in the actual meeting or email in their concerns or comments so we can address them in that meeting. And once again, Jeff's been setting up the communication contacts that allow that to happen. If you have any concerns about getting information to the council, you can go to the website and you can find out many different ways to get a hold of us, get information to us, find out when meetings are going to occur and what you need to do to be a participant in those meetings. So I think it's going to be very important for all of us to take the time to engage because we're going to be limited in what kind of information we receive from the public for a period of time. So engaging, at least in the form we have, is really, really critical. That's going to be really important.
Okay, thank you. I'll just add that if the technology holds up, we are planning to, we should be able to provide all these virtual meetings live on our YouTube channel so people can participate, watch there, send their comments in via email, as long as I said, the technology holds up. Speaking of technology, I got a question in via text. So let me read this to you. And this is from Sarah Regan at the Chamber. She says, can a non-essential business owner be in their store by themselves doing paperwork, inventory, and receiving shipment? Store not open. I've gotten 3 inquiries just this morning about this. And I might have some insight, but do any of you want to mention anything?
Well, I believe my reading of the new order allows that to occur. In other words, the use of personnel needed to check inventory, pay bills, straighten things out, water the plants inside the office, whatever it might be, is okay. You just can't operate the business itself. Now, that's my understanding, and I think you'll find that in the order. Maybe there's more clarity. It can come from Nirup or Jeff.
Yeah, I think the order does say, oh, sorry, go ahead, Nirup.
No, I'm looking to you for a response because I don't have the answer.
Yeah, I think the new order, and I would urge people to read it really carefully, does say that businesses do have to file a social distancing plan and put something on their door. So if you're working inside, you can say the plan is, I'm the only one. But again, you'll have to read it. The other thing I would recommend, and a lot of these questions should really go to the county. Remember, this is a county order, and Contra Costa County has set up a COVID-19 call center. It's open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and that telephone number is 844-729-8410. They'd really be a good place to ask a lot of these questions. If they can't get you the answers, they should be able to find out and get back to you. But I would urge you, anybody out there, questions about who should be open, who shouldn't be, what the new restrictions are. Again, Contra Costa County COVID-19 call center between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. 844-729-8410. So I hope that helps. Okay, shall I see if we have any more questions here?
Sure.
All right, let's see. Okay, here's a question from David Clark. And he writes, I believe there is a prohibition on curbside pickups in the most recent ordinance. Will you elaborate on what that addresses, please?
Well, I didn't see that in the order, so I can't really address it. It'd be hard for me to imagine that would be the case, since delivery for food is one of the things that is allowed under this new order. So I don't have that. My sense is it is allowed. I know there are several restaurants and delivery setups that are reliant upon curbside pickup. So I can't comment more than that. I don't have the actual language here, but I'm sure it's in here somewhere.
I have it, and I'm going to just read it out, and we're learning as we go. It says, restaurants and other facilities that prepare and serve food, but only for delivery or carry out. I would imagine that curbside pickup is a carry-out service.
I see it as a delivery.
or delivery. So we can, I'll work with the chamber to see if we can get more clarification from the health department.
And that might be another good one to call into the call center and see what they have to say about that.
Yeah.
And I see that Holly has posted that on the Facebook, the telephone number on the Facebook. We appreciate the chamber's support on this. It's great. Okay, well, I don't see any other questions. So, go ahead, Naru.
Jeff, I wanted to make a pitch for our own rec program and rec center. This was going to be spring break, and the kids were going to be home, and the recreation department has established a virtual community center. So you can go there and get great ideas on games, on projects that you can work with your kids on. And they're also starting to prepare for the next quarter and into the summer. They are looking at maybe offering online chess classes as an example. So if you see a need for an online class or classes that your children may really enjoy, please reach out to the Parks and Recreation Department. Let them know what you would like to see, and they would be willing to go out and find the best teacher for that class. We would really need your help in creating this new virtual community center. So I encourage you to go and check them out on their website.
So is that on the city website?
It's on the city website, and you go to departments, to Parks, Trails, and Recreation, and it has great ideas for how to spend time with your kids.
Excellent.
Okay, very good. All right, Mayor Anderson, anything you'd like to add?
Well, in closing, hopefully this has been helpful, and we remain in operation. We're going to be looking at what we can do to keep the city as vibrant as possible in the coming few months. And then, of course, the recovery effort that will be required when this is all said and done. But people need to just stay healthy, respect social distancing and hygiene, wave to your neighbors from a respectable distance and say hi. We're still a great community. We're still a great bunch of folks who really care. Patronize your local businesses, contribute to your nonprofits that would normally have events. Go online and check out some of the things that are being broadcast, whether it's theater or music. It's amazing what folks are doing. And do what you can basically to keep these things alive. Hopefully, over the next few months, we'll get past this and we'll be able to restart this community.
Okay, very good. If we didn't have time to get to your questions, go ahead and send them to me. We'll answer them online or something like that. And I wanted to tell folks that we'll also be providing the recording of this, the video of this live event on our YouTube channel. So those folks who weren't able to see it live can watch it on the YouTube channel. We'll be sending information out on that. So with that, I'll say thank you, Mayor Anderson.
Thank you.
Narup, thank you so much for being here, and for everyone participating. I think we had about 50 viewers out there, so that's fantastic.
Excellent. That's great.
So really good. Okay, well, we'll see everybody next time. Stay well, and thank you again. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.